really that
I said, but the Golden State Warriors are cooked.
That's crazy. You said that last year, but we all know you don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't say that last year. No, I did not say that last year.
You said it every year.
No,
you said it every year since I've been in the league.
That's not true. But y'all are cooked now.
You know, experience and hardly any experience. You know, historically, I think in just being a fan of the NBA, I can't recall the last time you've seen someone have success with that. But in saying that, that's our situation.
One thing I believe we all can agree on, if anything, this season has made absolutely no sense. I remember I made this exact video last year with the confusion of Ben Simmons' situation, Kyrie's vaccine status, James Harden requesting a trade, and just where the league stood at that specific point. And honestly, this year, it's even more confusing, yet I absolutely love it. The constant shift in storylines, the uncertainty of who's truly the favorites, and just the overall excitement of the NBA being wide ass open, it's put us fans in NBA heaven. The Golden State Warriors. Before the season even started, damn near every site I could find had this team as favorites to win it all, but especially represent the West. Even with Draymond's punch, it looked like they quickly patched that up with Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins signing long-term manageable contracts. But their season so far, it's been the epitome of a roller coaster. In fact, they're on pace to have the worst record following a championship since the '98 Bulls, a team that literally lost everything. I played y'all a clip of Draymond at the beginning of last season talking about how unprecedented what they were actually trying to accomplish actually was. And to what seems to be his surprise, they won it all last year with that formula. But now, with the inexperience to their young guys rearing its ugly head, the heightened competition in the West, and the injuries kind of catching up to the vets a bit, Draymond's initial concerns last year is proven to be valid. Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The NFL season has unfortunately come to an end, but luckily for us basketball fans, we still have a lot of hoops left to watch. DraftKings wants to make sure you get the most out of your experience, and they're back with an offer you really can't miss. All you have to do is sign up using my promo code Swishout. Put just $5 on any pregame money line and receive an additional $150 in bonus bets if you win. If you really want to up the experience, try same game parlays where you can combine multiple bets from the same game, like who's going to be leading at halftime or who's going to score first, for a much bigger payout. If mobile sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't trip. You can still get in on much of the action with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use my promo code SWISHOUT. Place just $5 on a pregame money line for any basketball game and get an additional $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code SWISHOUT only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Is this what we're experiencing right now? Is this parity? Is this good for the NBA?
I think as my own fandom, I love it, not knowing who's got a chance to win. But I think in the history of ratings, and this goes with every sport, everybody loves the David and Goliath story.
You add Kevin Durant to that mix, with LeBron arguably playing the best playoff basketball he's ever played. And that's a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. And look, I remember that's been part of this season-long narrative about how Kevin Durant joining the Warriors were bad for basketball. We had some semblance of this conversation when LeBron joined the Heat. Oh, it's going to be so boring. We know how this is going to turn out. But as Ty Lue said, I don't remember anybody turning away from Lakers Celtics.
How is this bad? I keep saying this. How is this bad for the NBA? Well, the regular season, you have never given two rips about the regular season. What's bad for the league is the Wizards against the Rockets in the final.
The league right now is in an absolute beautiful spot. We went from seeing 4 straight finals with the exact same teams to now having 4 different champions in 4 straight years and 7 different teams. That's the first time that happened since 06 through 09, and the league is way more competitive now. And also, what I absolutely love, if you look at the top 6 teams in the Western Conference, they're all in different, unique spots as a franchise, and most importantly, with their foundational pieces. Nikola Jokic in the Denver Nuggets, he's probably about to win his 3rd consecutive MVP, and though he's still young at 28 years old, this is clearly a championship or bust season for them. Please spare me the excuses of Jokic not having another All-Star. They have 4 players averaging 17 points a night efficiently. They have 7 players averaging double figures, mainly because of Jokic and how he quarterbacks that offense. They have one of the most efficient offenses ever, and unlike last year, they're one of the healthiest teams in the conference. The time is now. When he wins his 3rd consecutive MVP, he can't suffer another early round exit, or his legacy will take a hit. And I talked about this last year in the video. Nuggets fans might not like me for this, but I have to be honest. He's going to join Larry Bird as the first player to win 3 consecutive MVPs, or since Larry Bird. And with those high-ass standards comes more expectations. Let's be honest, Westbrook started it in 2017, but Jokic obliterated the criteria for MVP. He's literally going to win it in 3 completely different ways. In 2021, it was him and Embiid for the race, and then Embiid got hurt, so it kind of just fell in his lap. I didn't have no problem with that. Last year, he won it the Westbrook way. We broke down the literal acronym, most valuable player. He didn't have Porter Jr. or Murray, so we gave him that nod, and he had the historical numbers. And this year, we're kind of getting back on track, where he's the best player on the best team in the best conference, and he has the historical numbers. So if he wins it in 3 different ways, yet he comes up short, say in the semifinals, obviously he's going to be historic, but he's also going to join the wrong side of history as well. Since the merger, look at the extremely rare class of players that won back-to-back MVPs. Now look at their 3-year windows in which they won those MVPs. All of them won an NBA championship or at least made an NBA finals. All except one, Steve Nash, the one that nobody really respects in that regard. If you want to take it a step further and talk about the extremely rare class that he's about to join, the last player to win back-to-back-to-back MVPs was Larry Bird. What validates those MVPs even more and stamps him as the top 10 player ever in my opinion, he made the finals all 3 of those MVP years and won 2 of them. I'm not saying he has to do that, but we can't lower the bar for Jokic because we didn't for James Harden early in Houston when he was playing superior teams. We didn't for LeBron early in Cleveland when he was playing superior teams. We didn't for Giannis when he was winning those MVPs but he didn't break through. We can't do it for Jokic. The bar is at minimum making the NBA Finals. The Memphis Grizzlies, although it may not feel like it because they love to add unnecessary pressure to them, they're in a completely different situation. Right now, they're the 2nd seed, and they're probably going to secure that for the 2nd straight year. Did you know they're the 7th youngest team in the NBA? Look at the teams they're by. They're way ahead of schedule. The Sacramento Kings, kind of in the exact same situation. They feel like Memphis last year. Just being in the thick of things from where they've stayed the previous 17 years is a massive win for this organization. Anything they do in the playoffs outside of sweep is like icing to what's been a fantastic cake this year. The Los Angeles cursed ass Clippers, I don't know how they lost that game to Sacramento. They're the polar opposites of Memphis and, ironically enough, the Sacramento Kings. The Clippers are the 2nd oldest team in the NBA. Steve Ballmer is paying the highest payroll in league history. They're loaded with names, and I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this, y'all let me know, but since they became the Los Angeles Clippers, they probably just traded their greatest draft selection in their franchise's history for this. So they gotta win a championship. That's the bar. The Phoenix Suns, they just pushed all their chips to the table and got Kevin Durant. And I know it looks like, damn, man, their championship window is going to be at least the next 3 to 4 years. KD's still in his prime. Devin Booker's only 26. But we really don't know that. Kevin Durant, since coming back, has only played about 60% of his games. Even if you look at LeBron, I know it looks like he's been Iron Man, and he has. But around what age did he start to decline physically, durability-wise? Around 34, 35, which KD is right now. I know we see no regression on the court, but physically, we just don't know how much these athletes have left, so every opportunity counts. And Dallas, who currently holds that last spot with that 6th seed, we all know why this season is so important for them. They just took one of the biggest risks ever. I'm sure everybody knows, but just in case you don't, let me specify why this playoffs is so important for that organization as a whole, and most importantly, keeping Luka Doncic happy. According to Jalen Brunson himself, prior to the beginning of last season, they could have had him on a 4-year, $55 million contract. That would have made him around the 112th highest paid player in the league, easily the biggest steal in the sport if they secured that contract. Now, assuming you keep Kyrie happy, because that's not even a guarantee, he can bounce after this year, he's going to be demanding damn near 4 times what you could have had Brunson for. And in 2023, they give you relative production. So in conclusion, if stuff hits the fan this playoffs, you could have lost all of this in a calendar year span, which to me will be worse than any shortcoming Cleveland ever did for LeBron at any point. And in the East, I like Cleveland, trust me I do, but they're still missing a piece, so we really have a 3-team race. If the Boston Celtics happen to win the NBA championship, they will cement themselves as one of the more respectable champions in this era. They drafted arguably the 2 best players in their drafts back-to-back, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They drafted the top 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates last year, Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. They groomed and trusted the youngest coach in the sport, Joe Mazzulla, who's probably the coach of the year. They elevated former coach, now GM, Brad Stevens, who put all these great pieces around their nucleus. It would be great for the NBA to see the Celtics win. If the Milwaukee Bucks win the NBA championship, this would be the 2nd year in a row that we've seen a new player enter his name in the chat for the top 10 players of all time debate, and his argument would be very valid. He would join Michael Jordan as the only player in NBA history to win 2 Finals MVPs, 2 MVPs, and a Defensive Player of the Year. At the top 10, he would be building on a GOAT debate. Forget the top 10. And Joel Embiid, kind of like his rival Jokic, he's going to be fighting not to be on the wrong side of history. Obviously, he's still young in age, but let's be honest, Joel Embiid hasn't been the healthiest, most in-shape player in the league. But if he doesn't make it this year, he's going to join Vince Carter and Dominique Wilkins and Bernard King and what used to be Chris Paul until late in his career as the best players to never even make the conference finals. And James Harden, I mean, we know what's at stake for him. And even if you look at the bottom of the West in the play-in tournament, it's still legends with stuff to play for. The Warriors don't want to go from this dynasty that was on top of the world with 4 championships in 7 years to being the first team since the Bulls to not even make the playoffs following a championship. They don't want that. And even LeBron, I'm not Skip Bayless, so I don't think this hurts his legacy in any way, but he doesn't want to tweet what he tweeted last year and miss 2 consecutive playoffs, or worse yet, play-in tournaments. That's embarrassing. So in conclusion, I've never seen a season that's so unpredictable. Like, even the teams that were supposed to be bad, like Utah, they stumbled upon the most improved player in the league. OKC, they lost the 2nd pick in the draft and they're productive. Sacramento, they were projected to win 33 games and they're the 3rd seed. I've never seen anything quite like this, and as a fan, I'm loving it. If you guys like this video, make sure you like this video. If you made it this far, comment your last 2 teams to make the playoffs in the West. I'm going to go the Warriors and the Lakers. I think they'll get those play-in spots. I hope they'll make the play-in spots. It'll be more entertaining, but I just don't know. Follow my social media sites. Turn on post notifications. Do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.